No dancing.
Yeah, even Blind and Garuda can all rap battle each other apparently.
Yeah.
All by myself.
I wanted to ask this: is this the guy with the chicken nugget story?
Yes, this is the man who almost choked on chicken nugget.
It was the chicken nugget of destiny or something.
No, bless him, he almost died. Let's be sympathetic.
Oh no, chicken legs was savage because I got a 30-piece chicken nugget. I was going in, I was like inhaling it, I was eating it so fast, and when a chicken nugget got stuck in my throat, I was like, and I literally had to spend like at least a couple of days. It was like, I'm not gonna die like this.
You're a wild chicken nugget.
Ron's a legend.
Like a terms. Hey, chicken nugget, I'm talking, bro. What's wrong with you?
No, hang on, you just let Blind talk, man.
I was trying to help.
Where's the chicken nugget from?
Where are you from, chicken nugget?
I'm sorry.
Chicken nugget, where are you from? Get real. Flash chicken nugget.
Oh, I love you too, Leopard. That's the homie. But yeah, did chicken nugget leave?
Gentlemen, I hate to be that guy.
No, do it.
I dated a girl who was a Satanist for like
well, conspiracy theory and conspiracy fact are two completely different things, and they both exist. We know that, right?
Whoa. No. I have to correct your statement. If it's conspiracy, it's a conspiracy. You can't say conspiracy fact. If it's a fact, it's no longer conspiracy.
Okay, but a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people think the word conspiracy is conspiracy theory. But conspiracy is a crime. It is very much a real thing.
No. Theory is trying to is a hypothesis. The practice is when you have something practical to put
but conspiracies. I just want to make sure that we're in agreement that conspiracies happen
all the time. But the same way. But the same stuff.
Look, you make the biggest and I don't. This stuff I've actually evangelized on in person.
And I'm not trying to get off a point, but I'm trying to go to the point that we're talking about right now.
But you do make the biggest point is the fact that evil exists whether you acknowledge it or not. Those people that you're talking about absolutely exist, and they're probably some of the most important people in a society. We just don't know what their belief systems are. Now,
yes and no, but here's the truth of the matter. Now ask this. Is it really important to know what their belief systems are if they ask the right questions?
No, it's important to know what your belief system is.
Deixa da pensada com força, vagabundo, me deixa
Yo, 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 what is good? YouTube people, party people, New Year's Day people, in the future people, people that are still in the past, everybody, people in the present. Uh, hope you guys are having a good one. Shoot, I felt it, the sickness come in, and it didn't. I was gonna go bring it in with my little sister. She asked me to go bring it in with her, and as soon as I hit that outside for a little extended amount of time, I felt that sickness coming in. So I can tell I'm already getting a cold, and I don't like it. But I didn't have anything else to do for New Year's, and I figured if you're here on YouTube, then you probably don't have anything else to do. So I figured we could possibly hang out, depending on how much y'all want to hang out. But I'll hang out for a while. Yeah, I had a really good response for my video earlier today, and I mean I liked it. I liked it. I'm glad that happened. Or I'm glad that yeah, I got somehow I got my subs back. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to do the live too, is because when I reactivated my channel, it had said that I didn't have any subs. I started back off at 0, and then I had like 15 when I got up today, and then it had now I'm at like 130 or something. So either I got my subs back, or 100 and something people just all of a sudden found me because they liked that last video. But that's the way I'm going to be handling it from now on. I realized, because I listened to a little bit of the last video back, just to try to compare it with the difference in the way that it sounds whenever I'm cussing too much, because Jen, I think it was Jen. I'm pretty sure it was Jen. She said it was her husband. If she's not here yet, she's one of the people that told me. A few other people told me that the cussing is like it's just bad, just bad juju. So I'm gonna. Oh hey Jen, I was just telling. Was it you that had told me that I needed to cut down on the cussing like a while back? It was right. I'm pretty sure. When I was going after Toxic Angel. But regardless, I didn't. Okay, yeah. Well, that's actually really good advice that I should have followed a long time ago. Back in the day, not even back in the day, like probably like a year ago, maybe. Because I've made all kinds of content, and one of them I just did like a video of me looking at people's tattoos, but it was like more produced than the streams I do, and or like had more production quality or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Um, but what do you call it? The very first comment I got on there, like I got a decent amount of views, I think, but the very first comment I got on there was, man, it would be better. It would be so much better if you didn't cuss so much. And then you said it, and then Sad said it, and like I said, Sad, I hope you got your hug, bro. I really do. If you didn't, you can come in here and get the cyber hug today, because it is New Year's, and we'll do a group hug, me and you and Jen, but you don't have to, Jen. You don't have to. I have heard that it affects your channel negatively as far as, yeah, well, that's exactly right. That's exactly what I'm thinking too. Like, and I understand why it would too, because who wants to promote all that, uh, like, just that, like, obscenities, obs- yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. But yeah, what do you call it? And then I don't know, man. It's crazy. Like I guess the New Year's time always gets you thinking about new stuff or like thinking about the future, you know. And I guess I never brought in a year thinking about making content for the next year. Like that's something I've never done. And I mean, I don't know. And I honestly don't look at the nonsense that's happened as something that would hold back my channel once we get past it, like past the initial bumps and bruises. Like once I clear all the energy out with the people who I keep on engaging with in a negative way, I feel like it'll be easy to maintain a more positive vibe and upwardly mobility. Like, okay, yes, I apologize if I was not nice to said or I don't even understand what happened there. Jen, were you telling me what happened? Because I didn't even see y'all going back and forth in the chat, and I was like, all of a sudden, he gets on the thing, and then I just seen you say, "Should I go?" And I was like, "No," or he said he was like, "You should go" or something. I was like, "No, fuck no." I watched it back. But I watched it back to tell you the truth, blind. I really. Oh dang. Oh okay. So then it was on you. Salute to you for being the way you were. What do you mean? What way was I? Because I was like, nah, shit, you can go. Fuck. I mean, no, I like now. I like sad. You're cool and all that. Oh man, I just said all those bad words. Did I say bad words? I think I did. Yeah, me and Carrie kind of got. Yeah, we were on one, man. We were definitely on one. And this vape stick, I think it has like crack rock in it, crack cocaine, because it's too strong. You were very respectable to him. Yeah. Well, if you go back and you look, Jen, it's crazy because and I know that the okay, my best way to put what I want to say is this is you never stop. Do you ever stop learning? No, right? So I'm constantly learning. So like sometimes you might expect me to know more, but I'm still learning about some things. So like I'm barely getting to where I understand why I shouldn't do certain things. And yes, and I feel like I'm trying my hardest and not like there's a million reasons now. Like now making content and you're gonna see Jen, hopefully when you see my like that video with Jaden Smith that I put together like that, I was gonna put a bunch of editing and make it like a video that's more themed around my channel. But I want when I do that, when I put together like my first packaged video, I want it to be a little more polished than what I was gonna do there. And I have always like there's a few that I've been wanting to videos I've been wanting to make forever. But if you go back and you look when I was doing so good, like I was on a positive road. If you go back and look at it, I was on a positive road all the way, like gaining subs, having my mindset on what I'm doing, and then I had it out with Toxic Angel. And when I had it out with Toxic Angel, like my whole existence here just like crashed. And what do you call it? I allowed that. I'm not gonna even blame him because I mean I don't know. It seemed like possibly he was trying to provoke me when I look back at it now, but It's still my 100% my responsibility to behave the way I behave. But at that point, when I met Toxic Angel, I was conducting myself in such a good manner that people would compliment me on my manners. I don't know if you remember that, but people all the time would compliment me on my manners. And it's like that's the way I prefer to be. But then when I get in defensive mode, like that's the thing is that I wish I didn't have that response. Like I wish I could calm that. And I feel like maybe I am. I'm trying to, but what do you call it? Okay, you do remember? And that's the reason why I prefer to operate like that is because that's the way that I was raised. Like we were told you don't ever cuss in front of your mom. You don't like the jokes and stuff that I say on here would never ever cut it around my family and stuff. So it's like, hey, what's up, Aussie Amanda? Salute to you. My algorithm or my sub thing must be working. So I'm glad that you were able to see me. I wasn't sure if the other 120 of you guys were even going to be able to see me. Yeah, that's what I did, Jen. Like, and Happy New Year. Yes, Happy New Year to you, Aussie Amanda. I love the name Amanda. I've always thought the name Amanda was a beautiful name. You know, oh, but yeah, that's what I had done, Jen. Like, but it's crazy because like, okay, yes, thank you. Well, I had taken a break. Like I had done what Jen just said and just take the step back, only because like I was about to act in a way that was really out of character and something that I wouldn't have been proud of. So I was like, I said, let me pause my channel and I'm gonna spend some time with some friends or like get more back out into real life for a little bit, and then I'll come back here and talk about or do whatever. Yes, I know your sub, Jen. Thank you so much, man. Somebody was actually complimenting the way that you're always in the chat showing support, and I hope that you know how much I do appreciate you always coming in like that. That is so cool, Jen, because I only have maybe like one or two channels that I'm like that about. Like if I see them on live stream, I'm like, okay, I'm watching this. I want to catch it live. And there probably I think only one. I think only one channel that I am like that with, and I don't even comment over there. Like I don't even talk. I just watch it. But I mean, like I've like made my little rounds around like tons of communities. Thank you. Well, I wish you would tell me things that you're more interested in, Jen. Like, and I hope I could add that to how I'm already operating because, like, I always like it's when I start making content. I always look at it from, but I don't go and compare it to channels like they say that you should. Maybe I should do that. I can't really think of anybody that I would want to frame my channel after though. But like I honestly like the style or at least like the speaking style of like I don't know if you know the Daily Show with Jon Stewart and then the other one with the Republican guy. I can't remember his name. Stephen Colbert. Yeah, the Colbert Report. Like I like those styles, but I also like the more personal, like not so. So I always plan on like having a mixture of that mixed with like satirical stuff. Like I realized the reason a lot of people, or not a lot of people, but the algorithm specifically, the reason why it has an issue sometimes is because I use sarcasm that's not so that it's not so easily just seen through, so like it doesn't know how to interpret like the level of satire, and I don't want to be a channel that's taken as completely serious where you're not. I would rather be classified as a satire channel than a non-satire channel. I've seen those. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I just like their level of like, uh, but I even more. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe like Joe Rogan. Honestly, I think like Joe Rogan is probably like the closest I can think of to what I would like to. But also like I said, mixing in like more polished type of like I like skit style stuff. Yeah, Joe Rogan. And I used to really like Joe Rogan's early earlier content. I like Joe Rogan all the way until he started saying that the moon landing was real. And then I was like, but I was man, I didn't make content. It's crazy how different YouTube was back then. Excuse me. I didn't I you if you've seen the content that I made like back in the day, Jen, it would trip you out. I never made like content that I really talked on or anything, but I would get pictures or the 24-hour um space station 24-hour thing, like I would record that and point out like little flaws in it, and I would but it was crazy because engagement and support was like that back in the day. Like as soon as you made a video, it don't matter what it was, as long as it was original. Like if it was anything that was just like original content, it was popping, and people would be in your comments like, heck yeah, I can't wait to see you next week or next whatever. But this was like when the truther community was around, man. Like that was really the community I like. I feel like from the beginning of that community to the end of it was we touched on like every conspiracy theory that existed at the time. Like, and then Alex Jones, even when Alex Jones was still, I don't know if, man, you would you know what, Jen, I have, and it's so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing. It's a whole different world though, man. But one day I'll probably make it. But like I'll probably show you the content. But I have a video of me from like, I don't know, 10, 15, no shit. Like it's something like 15, 20 years ago. I don't know. But I'm talking about like cops and how like some, but it's like I have my face, like I have it like darkened, like like an anonymous type video, and I'm talking about cops. But I was so young and I didn't know anything about the internet or anything, and I didn't want to rile anybody up. I miss being naive like that. Have you watched James Munder? No, James Munder? No, who is that? Have you? No, who is that? James Munder? That don't even sound familiar. Munder? And he died. So how old was he? It was. I mean, I don't know. Who is that? Because I'm trying to think of all. Okay. Well, I can't share screen, or let's see if I can. James Munder. Underground. Oh no, no. I don't know if there were any underground news channels when, because like I feel like those started towards the end of what I'm talking about. Like when Russell Brand was doing the Trues. I don't know if you ever saw that. He was doing the Trues, the True News, and Underground News. No, but that sounds super interesting. Super duper interesting. Underground News. That is so cool. What type of stuff did he talk about? Well, I don't know if like underground news. I don't think I would want to consider myself underground news at any point. I would love to. I'm going to look to check out that content for sure. But underground news is a heavy cross to bear, man. Like that's a big label. Only because like if anybody that considers themselves underground is like um the non commercial thing or whatever, and then like, oh, he was funny too. Nice. Underground news. Well, like it sucks. It sucks because it's like you can't. There's not really much to just observe anymore in America, or there is, but everybody has already like not observed, but kind of like try to unravel. Like everything has kind of been touched on and drained, like they say, you're squeezing the turnip that bleeds or whatever. But but I've never. I mean, I don't know, like if that's something that, because I was thinking, uh, yeah, I wouldn't want to. I don't. Wouldn't want to be any kind of news at this point right now because I'm always saying something that's too far anyway, and then that just becomes too provocative. Especially when with my deal that I just made with Sad and his homies. What do you call it? I'm gonna try to behave. Excuse me, man. I felt that sickness coming in quick. But yeah, I don't know. Like I think about the content I used to consume, and I'm kind of glad that I watched it all when I did. But I don't. I wouldn't watch that same kind of content now. Like I used to watch a whole lot of like just looking into the deepest controversies and conspiracies, and it's kind of like I don't feel like right now the world would allow you to touch on some of that stuff. Like whatever happened to that guy, what was his name? He was a Hispanic guy. But he talked about at Princeton how they were supposedly eating people and stuff like that. Like that's why you can't even attempt to talk about what's going on in the world right now because there's too crazy of stuff. Like I feel like there's a guy named Point and Shoot, and a dude is super funny, man. And he's funny. I never heard anybody like give like a clinical uh type of breakdown of stuff and be so hilarious as that guy. I like that kind of stuff, but I really like it when I yeah, me too. Me too. Like that's what I feel like uh is definitely better to be able to inspire laughter. It's crazy how how big YouTube, or how much YouTube actually assigns to each channel. And you might not even know any about, like, realize about that, Jen, because you haven't made content. But YouTube, like a YouTube channel, encompasses a whole lot. Like, and you don't have to engage with it all, or you don't have to like take advantage of it all, or like attempt to use all the tools it offers. But it's pretty amazing because it's almost like assigning you an identity. I like to be aware of the world around me, but at the same time, oh, that's what's. I feel like I got to the point to where I'm so aware of the world, I realize that it's kind of hopeless. I was watching. It's crazy the memories that have been. I'm telling you, Jen. I know that I know that, and I say it's mathematical, or it's either like mathematical or spiritual, but I feel like I can give certain like, dang, it's crazy that um I feel like I can predict the future, and I even like have examples that I can prove with a lot of examples I can prove where I showed people like in a moment, like, and explain to them something that I thought that was going to unfold, and they saw it happen. So it's crazy because like when I use that, like, because it's like a different part of your brain, like you're thinking normal, but then when you want to think about like something more spiritual or something more silly, imaginative, it's like a different muscle almost. But what do you call it? It's so many, and it's honestly like just so. Or I guess I see the possibilities of what could happen, or the possibilities of like how things could go with certain scenarios. But yeah, me too. That's what I always want us to laugh. Yeah, I don't know. So, do you have any New Year's resolutions, Jen? And I've been smoking that vape, so if I'm out of it, just forgive me, or tell me to go to bed if I get too out of it, Jen. Because last time I had those other chunky wonkies making fun of me. But yeah, oh, do you have any New Year's resolutions? I do. I heard somebody, who was it? My husband always tells me if you just slow down a little, look and breathe, you can see everything happening in detail. The breathing part, man. That's what I learned in jail. I started doing yoga when I went to jail, and it was cool because the guy gave me like a really good yoga book. Like as soon as I wanted to start it, well, we went like, you know what? I'll in the in the spirit, because, and I'm doing this all without swearing. I just want to point that out because Sad mentioned it, and then and you, Jen, like, just to keep that in my own mind, and for the algorithm or anybody that is interested, like, I am making this content and all that right now without swearing and stuff. But I'm gonna tell you a little bit about my time in jail. If you want it, check it out. I like, this is a little bit of gang stuff that isn't okay. It isn't secret, so I can talk about it. But and you might even know some of this stuff because of what you told me. But and other people have already talked about it on YouTube, so I'm not out of line because I always get worried about that. But okay, so I'm Hispanic, and I grew up. The gangs that I grew up around really aren't even gangs. They're what they call famas, and they're it's almost like more mafia status, and but in the Hispanic sense, and so when if you're Mexican, like, and here in Texas, you usually have your people that you are in they're like that's your fama, like, and when you get locked up, like that's who you end up becoming a part of the like that's the way that people's guys life here in Texas, the average normal guy out there in the street, that's the way his life is going to play out. What do you call it? Well, I never aligned myself in that way. I aligned myself with the street gang uh, of that's a blood set, like because we were outsiders and stuff, and like by the time like my brother was crazy when we got into this new town, but like the whole uh vibe was like against us for a while, and then we became like cool, everybody became cool with us, and it was a good life there. But what do you call it, anyways, I'm a blood, and you know about the bloods, what do you call it, I'm not gonna say my set and stuff like that, but so when I get to jail, I didn't really want to I had been on drugs for so long, and then I started taking Suboxones and trying to clear my life up. Well, now I'm going off of the Suboxones, and I'm just like so freaking just like I don't know, man. It was rough. But anyways, I can't remember the point that I was talking about. But oh yeah, so when I get in there, I like as a Mexican, and you know what, man? Dang it. I hate that my internet isn't working that good. Um I get into the jail, and it's like everything is racially segregated, as you know, or you may not know, but everything is racially segregated. If you're Mexican, you only do business with the Mexicans. If you're black, you only do business with the blacks, and whites. And what do you call it? So when I get to jail, I'm like, and I really didn't want. Okay, so yeah. Okay, well, and I didn't want to be like I was already past that, like the gang part of my life. Like I left that shit behind a long time ago. But like it's not, you just stop, that you become inactive, like especially in like the Bloods and the Crips, they're less restrictive because there's not like a close tight knit, especially here in Texas, like you have your set and then that's it, like you don't, there's not really like Texas wide whatever. But so I get in there, and I'm inactive, like I left that shit behind a long time ago. And I tried to just like do my time and get out of there and hurry up and be done with it. Well, so and some people might consider this a violation. I mean, if you do, then that's your opinion. But I mean, that's it. That's all it is your opinion. But so I go in, and they ask me, because I didn't want to be segregated. They asked me, "Are you a gang member?" I told them no. They put me in a regular. Well, it's still like high risk and shit, but they put me in there, and I'm just like doing my thing. I go to sleep for 10 days when I get in there. And what do you call it? Like I slept for 10 whole days. I would get up, eat something, use the bathroom, wash my face, and I would take a shower like a couple of days, like probably 2 showers in between that whole 10 days. But I just slept and slept and slept. Well, when I wake up, I hadn't like checked in with anybody, so like they didn't think that they just considered that I was unaffiliated, and I was happy to keep it that way, but I hadn't really talked to anybody yet. Well, I only do business with my people, so like that as much was much as like what my intentions were anyway. So when you like I don't you've been to jail, so you know like how they do the 2-for-1s, like hold store. Well, the blacks had a store, which was my homies, and then the Mexican dudes had a store. Well, I'm spending bread, like I wake up the 10 days later, and I check in with my people, and but I still didn't really tell them to let them know that I was like blood or whatever. So I do my business. I get my stuff from my people. Well, when probably like about 2 weeks goes by, and then the Mexican people come to me and they're like, "Hey, why are you spending all your money with this black dude?" And I'm like, "What?" And like there's a whole like extortion in jail. People think that's here in Texas. It doesn't go like here in Texas. If you're being extorted, I mean it happens sometimes whenever somebody's so weak that it's just agreed upon that he's going to get taken advantage of anyway. But if somebody tries to extort somebody, like it's a big deal here, like if everybody finds out. Well, so these dudes try to press me and tell me you have to spend your money with us. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you have to spend your money with raza, with Mexican people. And I'm like, I don't know, like, bro, you're tripping. No. And well, there was like 11 of them, and they call me into the bathroom, and they're like holding court on me. And I realized the second, because I'm outside in the day room, and I see everybody going to the bathroom, all the Mexican guys, and I'm like, man, I already know what time it is. Like I'm either gonna have to line it up and fight all 11 of these fools back to back to back, and get beat up multiple times. Like that's what they really do. You have to fight every one of them, or else something. And I go, and luckily, thank God, man, the biggest dude there was this dude named or almost said his name. But me and him were close, like we are homies. And what do you call it? Yeah. They were upset with me. They're like, yeah, you ain't well, I try and show respect. I'm the same way like in life as I am on YouTube. Like I'm super respectful until it becomes something that's an issue. Then I overkill stuff. So it's like, what do you call it? It's the exact same as YouTube. So I always try to like put that off as far long as I can. So I'm still not saying anything. Well, I go in there, and I didn't know how fast it was all gonna kick off. So like I'm ready to fight the second I go in there. And I go in there, and they're like, "Hey, well, what's up? How come you're not?" And and the dude Hulk, I said, I'm like, okay, well, let's go. Like, what are we gonna do? Line it up. Like, who's fighting? And they're like, well, you can either, I think they said you can either fight for 30. It was like 30 seconds if two dudes for 30 seconds, or three dudes for 2 minutes if you decide to swing back. So like 30 seconds if you didn't swing back and you just took it and let them smack on you. But if you're insisting on fighting back, then three dudes for 2 minutes. And I was like, well, there ain't no way that I'm letting nobody beat on me without me fighting back. So what's up? Who's the three? Like, what are we doing? And and my homie, man, dude was like huge. The guy was so big, he could pick people up and like like ragdoll them, man. It was crazy. I don't know. I swear I used to jump on his back and just like here, what's up, Kerry? Good day, mate. I would jump on his back and he would give me a piggyback ride around the thing, or else he would just like pick me up with both of his arms. He was my boy, man, and he stepped in and was like, "Well, ain't you a blood dude?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but like I'm not trying to get all that mixed in this." And he's like, um, "Well, I ended up just kind of kind of just like accepting that as like a solution, and I ended up aligning myself with all my people. Well, when and then it was crazy because and people were mad. People were very mad at me for this because I wasn't politicking. Like you don't even want. Yes, happy New Year to both of you guys. Happy New Year. Um, yeah, you don't want to be politicking in Joe, like you either do or you don't. You don't want somebody that's not and then they are. But that's what ended up happening because I was just trying to fly under the radar. Once that happened, though, it was sweet, man. Like it was sweet because I start running the store with my homie, and next thing you know, like we have duffel bags. Like we got put on lockdown, and we're the only people with food. We had like or not duffel bags, but commissary bags full, like 3, 4 of them stuffed under the bunk. But so we start running the store, and next thing you know, like on the speaker for the blood. Well, one of them, me and this other dude, were speakers for the Bloods, like actually handling business in there. Because if you don't have somebody that knows how to politic, then you really it can get messy, man. Like people are so focused on the tiniest, most minuscule, meaningless stuff in there. Because and when you're hungry, you'll fight over that dollar soup. Like I seen it countless times. $1, $2, whatever, it don't matter. Like a dollar is what you hear all day. But I had charge of a phone, like because you can't even just use like I seen this Bear County today. I seen this guy that went to Bear County, and it was like so different than the real like thing. But what do you call it? I'm no good with politics. Yeah, well, it's a different kind of politics. Like it's like constant negotiations with but like negotiations just for everyday life, like negotiations about times, negotiations well the phone, like there's 3 phones. There's the black phone, the white phone, and then the homeboy phone, usually, or else the Mexican phone, whatever. And what do you call it? You have to keep a list. Like people, as soon like at 8 o'clock in the morning, you have to get to the phone. If you don't get to the phone at 8, or you have to get on the list, because there's a person that runs the phone, and they have a list from the very beginning in the morning. Because you have to tell them the next day, even like, hey, in the morning I'm gonna use the phone, so put me on the list first. And then so like for each race, there's somebody that's holding the list for the phone, and you want to get put on there, and you can make, if you're the person holding the list, or else like another like important person within your little community, then you can say, hey, put such and such on the list, or like, hey, skip him or whatever. And they're like, that's honestly, that's what the most fights were over, with the phone. Because like, and I seen some ugly fights over the phone. Like when somebody's trying to talk to their chick, and somebody comes up and is like, hey, get the F off the phone or something, like people lose their mind. Like people lose their cool, man, and they just wig out. And but yeah, I seen a dude hit another guy like with the phone. It was gnarly. But and then my homeboy, like he got into a big fight and he was slamming his head on the concrete, and the whole like foundation was like every time that he would slam his head. The dude is so huge. But what do you call it? So yeah, politicking is really like about where you sit, about if it like everybody has to handle their own race. So if and it really comes down to like for the white guys, it's a matter of the toughest white guy, like who is or the most what the white guy with the most experience. So like if it don't really like there's not really a whole lot of white gangs here. Um I mean there is a few, but they're not like every single there's a whole lot of white dudes that are tougher than those guys that are just like whatever normal dudes. But so those fools they're always crazy, but they're always cool. And then here, man, like my own race, like Mexicans here, like I don't in the jails, like we always get into it. Always. I always have like that one person that just I mean I always get along with most of them, but there'll be like two or three people that just like just can't stand me. There's prison rules and there's inmate rules governed by the inmates. Yeah, yeah. And what's governed by the inmates overrides what is because you have to stay good with those fools before you do the laws. It's a whole different world in prison, and that's just from what I've seen. Yeah, it is. It is. It is a. It's like it's the most primal a person can be without like living in the wilderness or something because you don't have anything. You don't have access to technology. You don't have any of like the like you just don't have nothing. And then you everybody's hungry. Like I said, you get some or even being hungry, man. Like I'm not gonna lie, like but it's a whole different kind of hunger in there because you're just never satisfied. Like if you want to survive, yes. What do you call it? But yeah, so I link up with the dude the the current speaker for the blacks, and we lock in, man, and we're good. Like we're tight from the beginning. And he's like, okay, I run the store, and he showed me because I had never been locked up for an extended amount of time. Like I had always gotten bonded out, always gotten bonded out. Yeah, the food. Well, some of them that have ugly flavors, but yeah, for the most part, it's just kind of bland. Like, but them freaking raw potatoes and cat food and stuff has the disgusting flavor. But like a bologna sandwich is like a delicacy in there. Like you don't even know what you will do for a bologna sandwich once you haven't eaten anything like with flavor for 2 or 3 months. The thing is, it shouldn't be so tough in there. You there do time, not punish. Yeah. Well, well, it's that's the thing though is it's a hierarchy. So like it's only miserable to a certain population of those people, and all of that is kind of designed to make the top echelon of those guys happy. So like because that's their home, like and the guards don't have any way to control that or anything to do with it. Like the if you were to go to jail and just have like the inmates like no politicking like jail how they say jail is like in the midwest or something, like that would be so chill. Like it would be so chill, man. But here in Texas it's so chaotic from the gang stuff that it's like, and I don't even like to say that out loud because I feel like I'm snitching, but like I said, I made sure I double triple checked that I could even talk about that this much, and I can, so I'm good. But yeah, so the thing is like I said, the guards just kind of let the inmates, or they, I don't know. Some people say you have to, some people say you don't, but it's the way it is that the groups police themselves. So like the toughest white guy, he's gonna be the one that does the politics for the white people, that tells if there's a white guy that needs to take a shower, if there's a white guy that isn't taking care of his hygiene, a white guy that owes money, whatever, then that white guy is going to take care of that. Well, if there's, so then, and then there's the, for the Mexicans, depending on what type of pod that is, because the different gangs get the different pods. So like you're not ever gonna like see two conflicting big gang or big famas in conflicting pods. But what do you call it? So then and the thing about it here, man, is like they're kind of grimy. Like they'll put 5 dudes to just stomp on you if they can. I mean, like I said, they were like 3 dudes for 2 minutes if you want to swing back. Like that's crazy. I saw a horrific video a couple of days ago where 14 guards. Yeah. Oh, Randy. I heard about it. I can't remember the name, but yeah, I definitely heard about it. Yeah, I didn't watch the video. I don't like to watch videos like that. I've seen that stuff in real life. Yeah, that's the way it is here. Like that's honestly the way that it is here, or in America, really anywhere. It can happen anywhere. But yeah, and then like the Mexican, the leader of that, and then the blacks, for the blacks, there's, depending on what, if it's a blood majority pod or a Crip majority pod, then, but then there's other black gangs like the GDs and the BDs, like those are getting bigger. One of my real close homeboys was a GD, well, a GD and a BD, but what do you call it? Yeah, so, but so that ended up being me. Like that's honestly, that's an honor that you have to earn. That you're not going to be allowed this honor without having earned it. Period. So like anybody that don't like it, like I understand that, and respect to all of the people that would be offended or like whatever, but I put in my work for my people, like, and I was the speaker for the blacks and on that pod. Well, one of them, it was me and another guy, and I all like the politic and stuff. But I hate even like everybody does though. Like those are the people that you really want dealing with shit. Is the people that hate dealing with it, because they're gonna handle it to where it doesn't cause more and more and more. But so I was this, and like all the people, a lot of people my own race had a humongous issue with me. Like a lot of times people will still have an issue with me if they find that out. I'm not sure how long I might make it. I just got done eating the meanest plate of homemade. Oh snap! Mexican food, tight. Well, I'm just killing time. Just I don't know. I don't know if I want to go to bed yet or what. But yeah, it's crazy because you think that things are secretive and they're not. You know, like I feel like I was thinking, man, how secretive is jail? Like, what am I revealing? But you're really living in front of everybody in jail. Like everybody sees everything, and everything is documented, like super documented. As a matter of fact, I heard that you can get like if there was a case, if like there was a case number assigned, this I heard this, I think that if there's a case number assigned to a crime that was committed in jail, that you can get the video FOIA'd. I've been wanting to look into that. Yeah, you guys should. Yeah, 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 you do. Yeah, you do. And it's horrible. But if you can, like I have a wicked fight, a awesome fight. I would like to FOIA with this dude, and I know that there's a case number attached to it because he pressed charges on me. But it was super cool. It was gnarly, and yeah, I was watching a video earlier today about it, and the dude went into the jail, and it was so much softer than real jail. Like, and he got to leave whenever he wanted and stuff. So I was like, yeah, that's not real life. Yeah, if it's not documented, it didn't happen is what we get taught, and the rest, prison pockets being yeah. Yeah, anytime I had to get naked in front of the guard, like I would make it. I would make him miserable if I had the chance to. Like it, I would like do the worst shit. Like on the court, I don't know. I'm a troll at heart in some instances. Like I just think it's funny. Like some stuff that other people think I'm stupid for, I just think it's funny. But yeah, yeah, you don't want them looking in your prison pocket. But yeah, I would like to see that video shoot. Yeah, well, that's the whole thing, Carrie. That's the whole thing. Is that like if you're like over much about it, then they will stop. Like they'll chill out. Like they're not gonna make it last any longer than they have to. Cause they're straight dudes too. Like it's not like as if they're a bunch of dudes that want to be looking at your beehole. Yeah. So you fart in their face. That's pretty much what that is, right? That's pretty much what that is. Good grief. That pretty much is what that is. Yeah. Yep. They're always like, bend over, cough harder. Yeah, they're perverts. Perverts for sure. Good grief. Yeah, Jen is crazy funny. What do you call it? Man, you guys are both cool. All you guys, man. I wonder where Pink Fan is. She was the one of the last people to comment on my channel before I deactivated it. Yeah, they always say cough harder. But it's because they're just like Jen said, just waiting for you to fart. Perverts. But yeah, what do you call it? I am glad though. I despise that time of my life, man. Like anybody that thinks that I talk about that and want to put any kind of like that was cool or fun or anything, I don't think that it was cool or fun. Like I honestly I mean, I'm glad, and I didn't like. There are times that I enjoyed, like, with friends and stuff in there, but I don't think it's any kind of life for anybody. I know some nurses, what, they want to just look into your beehole or what, Carrie? Don't tell me y'all are perverts too up there. You're looking at dudes' beehole and making them cough. That would be your job though. Like you would be one of the ones that had to do it. Yeah, she is. You giving them the stinky pinky. Stinky pinky. There's a lot of beehole stuff you gotta do. Good grief. Yeah, that's not a career path that I could do if you gotta have contact with the beeholes. I mean, I guess it's in the big picture, it's better than porn. That's crazy, right? It's crazy how the whole salad tossing thing became like a thing, and then you have like degenerates like Adam 22 trying to convince guys that it's cool to let your girl give you the stinky pinky. Not happening, bro. I don't like it. If I get messed with, gotta do something right. Gotta get back. Yeah, yep. It's not what I was thinking when I signed into it. What were you thinking? What were you thinking y'all were gonna be doing? Or did you think it was gonna be like Doogie Howser? I seen that show. That's the no Doogie Howser and House. Like turn them. Turn what off, Jid? I know you're talking about getting messed with, but what are you talking about? Turning the guard off? Yeah, once they've seen your beehole, I don't know if that's possible. Yeah, I always thought it would be a crazy job too to be a guard. That would be wild. I wouldn't do it, but I feel old hearing that name, Doogie. Yeah, Doogie Howser was awesome. I think that was no Patrick Harris, right? Yeah, because they want to try, they don't want to smell it. Yeah, that's what you think. Good grief. Yeah, that's craziness. No, man, like it's crazy because uh like that stuff used to be so embarrassing to me, or not like like embarrassing, but I was told that girls didn't poop like pretty much my whole life, and that was just the way I preferred to uh to believe it. Like I was like, okay. And then once I found out that they did, I was like, what the heck? And then yeah, y'all want to know I'll tell y'all the story of how I learned you don't ever 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 dig through people's stuff when they're not around. What do you call it? So I like and not that that's unnatural, because like that's the natural thing that you do when you're like with a new person or something and you get left alone in their room. Well, or like a relative or whatever. I was like that until this day. One time I was with this girl, and like we were hooking up and stuff, and I'm at her house, and it's probably like whatever time in the evening, and she's like, "Okay, I gotta go do something. I gotta go take a shower or something, go to the bathroom," and she takes off. Well, I'm like, man, I wonder what's in her closet. Like, cause I already pretty much had like a good idea of all the things that were visible. Oh man, I just think if you dig around, you could find something you really don't want to find. Like, I don't know. Um, so like, cause we were like super duper close, like super close. So I knew what was in like every drawer of her room and stuff. And so I was curious though, like what's in her closet, because I can see all this, I can't see what's in her closet. So I was like, I'll go see what's in her closet. So I opened her closet, and there's like clothes and stuff and everything on one side, and then a box over here. And what is worse? So I I see the lid of a pickle jar, and I'm like, oh, what the heck? And I reach down and I grab the pickle jar, and I pull it up, and it's a doo doo that's like a human doo doo, but coiled up, like it was crazy long, man. It was like crazy long, and it like filled the pickle jar up like to the top. Like right hand to God, what do you call it? So I was like, what the heck? And I couldn't imagine why it happened, but I put it back, and I was like, yeah, I can't, like that was probably like the worst thing that could happen. Like I can't think of anything I was that would even be good enough to ever kind of see something like that again. So I never, anytime that I ever was alone in somebody's room, you could leave me alone with $1 million right there under the blanket or something. Like I'm not touching anything. I don't mess with people's stuff at all. The pickle jar is worse. Yeah, it was crazy though. But I was like, what the heck? Like, why? And we're talking about like a pretty girl. We're talking about like a pretty girl that's like young, like people are crazy, yo. People are crazy. Like people are wild. And then this, check it out. I'll tell y'all about. Yeah, that's what we'll do tonight. It's been what, an hour, and yeah, it's crazy. I feel that cold coming on so like strongly. The jar is worse, but the other is, yeah. If I found a body, I don't know what I would do. Like I honestly don't know what I would do, because that's like a whole different set of problems. Like that's like dang, I know a 16-year-old serial killer. Like that would be crazy. Like what do I even do? Cause keeping them in their closet, like that's a whole big thing. What's up, Megan? Happy New Year. But why is that in a pickle jar? Yeah, that's what I was saying. It'd be shaking. Yeah, I mean, yeah, dead bodies are wild, random in random places. Yeah, that's probably what I would do, Carrie. Like honestly, because like, what am I? Okay, I open the door and I see it, and I'm like, okay, maybe she did it in self defense. Maybe there is actually a legitimate reason of why it's here, and because I mean, assuming she knows that it's there, what do you call it? So it's like, there is a legitimate reason, then I have to help her get rid of it, like, or at least do everything I can to protect her from having the worst consequences from it. So it's like, but I can't, I'm like bound by the rules of life that I can't call the cops. So I don't call, I've never in my whole life ever once, and never would I don't care, call the cops, period. They don't, cops would not come and help me if they came out to me. They would just treat me badly. But, yeah, I don't know what the heck I would do. I don't know what, I would probably tell her parents. I mean, depending on if I had a relationship with her dad, like I'll probably tell her dad. That would be the only thing I could do, and then he could decide how to handle it. Yeah, yo, Jen, if I ever get killed, I hope the guy gets away with it. I mean, that's the way I feel. But I mean, I hope I don't ever get killed. Let me make that crystal clear. I hope that I don't ever get randomly killed. But if I was, jail's just so horrible, man. Jail is so horrible. And the bottom line is that there's a better chance of somebody being rehabilitated out here on the street than there is in jail. So, like, putting him in jail actually wouldn't help anybody. If somebody did something like that bad to me, there's a better chance that he would change his life around out here than in jail. Because in jail, once you have locked into that life and you have to survive, there's no rehabilitation from that. Snitches get stitches wherever. Yeah, 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 yeah. After that fight, that I was talking about, like checking out to see if I could get the video of it. They asked the guy, they said, "Did you want to press charges?" And he was like, "Of course I do. Look at my freaking face." So true. You get worse in there. Yeah. 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 Well, and you know what sucks is like, there's such a misunderstanding of of jail recidivism mentality, or like recidivist mentality, because when you really, like, when you know the people, the yeah, chomos all need to get what is coming to them. But when you look at the reasons, because when you go to jail at say 18, and then if you reoffend and go back to jail again, then chances are you're going to keep going to jail, and so forth and so forth. Well, there's so many more factors in that equation than what is acknowledged, because one of the factors in that too isn't just because they say, okay, well, you've been now, you're not afraid anymore, you know what it's like to commit a crime and get caught, and jail is like criminal school, and then blah 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 blah, and now you go back and you keep going back. The thing is though, that nobody, I don't think, really like realizes is that most crime is like that I see, and I'm talking about, when I think about this, I'm not thinking about the statistics because I don't know what the statistics are. I'm talking about, I know the culture, and most of the crimes are committed out of desperation. Like, the recidivism happens because when you stole a car and you went to jail and you came back out, you didn't have nothing and you didn't have any way to get nothing, and you stole another car and went back to jail. Like, people often reoffend because they don't have, like, I've never met anybody, not gang related or otherwise, in person. I've never met anybody that isn't trying to stabilize their life. Like, they're like, every single person, any, it don't matter what level of whatever they are, they're trying to go legal, they're trying to stabilize their life, trying to do what they can to buy get a business, get a piece of land. Like, so it's like, these, it isn't, there's no it's not like, the whole jail school thing is crazy, man. I mean, criminal school, because yeah, like I went to criminal school before I was 18 years old. Like, so criminal school is not in jail. Criminal school is with where anywhere criminals are. Because if you just know where to get the information at, then you can. That's the reason why I didn't go to jail until I was like 30 something, because I was and believe I never had I have a perfect face card. Like I've never had bad anything on my name. Like never done no whole shit. So what do you call it? I just was always, man, one tiny breath, like one fraction of a second quicker than the person beside me. The sometimes did or didn't get caught. Like, but there wasn't many times when that happened. Me too. I was in my 30s. Yeah, I had done a lot of stupid stuff by that time. Shoot, like I had done a lot of crazy stuff. But if you do things in I don't know, man. Like I could feel like there's a smart way to do most things and a silly way to do most things. I'll be right back. Gotta help my daughter. Okay, right on, Carrie. Only be a couple minutes. Okay, right on. But yeah, I went to criminal school, but man, when I went, okay, I was like, it's crazy because I had never even like been anywhere near any street stuff. Like I had a rough go like from birth, but I got caught for all I did. I would not be out now. Yep. Yeah, yeah. If I got caught for everything, if I was punished for everything that I did, I wouldn't be able to make up for it in 2 lifetimes. I don't feel like. But yeah. Yeah. So like I had a rough go of it from birth, like with a few things, but I was basically kind of like just like a country kid. Like I didn't really have any kind of knowledge of like city anything, and then I turned like 5, and that's when we moved to the new town that we're living into Taft. I I think I've talked about. I think I did had some streams where we talked about like the news and what was going on there in Taft, Texas. Tiny little bitty town, man, and God forbid any of those people come over here and start hanging out because they're the most stupidest people on earth. But yeah, it was a culture shock because I already knew what it was to be like country, and then we get there and it's when we're because my dad had started doing business with this guy and he was buying my dad a house. My dad was buying it for my mom through him, like basically getting a loan to buy the house for my mom. And they ran a family off that ended up having like kids that were in my class and my brother's class. So we always had an issue. But so when they finally left, we come into town, and I'll never forget this, man. And I was probably like 5 and a half. My mom always had like a one of those big old Cadillacs. Always had like a big old Cadillac, and we come into town, and she drives into the gate. And as soon as we drive into the gate, there's a little fat kid and another little kid and an even littler kid. Like they were probably like eight, like 6 and 3. Like they were like tiny little dudes, and they're breaking stuff. Like we drive in, and they're in the it had like a carport, and they're like breaking stuff and slamming stuff on the ground. And like my mom I didn't even get out. I was just there, just looking. I was so young, and my mom gets out and she's like, "Y'all get out of here!" And little kids run off, and those kids ended up becoming some of my best friends in the world. Like those kids ended up being like I met them. They ran the block like they were like the little just crazy dudes. But I meet them. Ash Street like was our street. Like we owned that street. Like when I got there, those kids would kind of like run that street, and I meet up with them. We hang out, and next thing you know, we're a bunch of little heathens running around smoking cigarettes and doing just like kind of just trying to imitate grown people. But we were so little that it had to have been comical, man. Like it had to have been crazy. And then this one time I get caught smoking cigarettes at 6 or like 8 maybe outside of the nursing home, and they called the cops on me. Like they called the cops on like a 6-year-old kid for smoking cigarettes out in the break area. And but yeah, the town that we lived in was like that. Like it was just kind of just like just way old school, I guess, or something. Or maybe it was just like the time. But yeah, it was pretty fun. After that though, like we were the only family like the really had to like just get tested like 24/7 by everybody in town. So after a little bit of showing that we weren't like just gonna roll over, it was pretty cool. Naughty 6-year-old kid, yeah. Had to call big cops to deal with them. Yeah, well, they don't like. I don't even know like what they should have done. Like, I don't even know what I would do if I seen like It was me and my brother. He was 9. If I was 6, he was 9. We're real little, super little. But yeah, that was just the like. I feel bad because when I think about it, when I think about the culture that I was brought up in, and I look back, that mean like when you think about it, I was side by side with a lot of guys, like not a ton, but a lot, and we were all like raised the same way. We were all taught the same way, and we all had like kind of like the same. I would say probably like 75% of them are passed away or in prison. Like, and I know that because I see the few the turned their life around on Facebook, and we just kind of just like when we see each other, we just kind of say hey and stuff. But it's crazy because most of them are all gone, passed away, or in jail, man. Like out of all the people that and it's still the same culture, is what I was saying that I feel bad about because stuff like that don't change unless they like. I mean, because it was a culture, like it was a culture. Like we're talking about crooked everything, crooked politics, crooked law, crooked everything. But it's a whole different life than what I live now. One time there was a this sheriff's department called the Gregory Portland Police Department, and they actually did get caught up for being crooked, and the internal affairs people came in there, investigated them, found out they were crooked, and shut down their police department. And then it was like a sub town, like I don't know what kind of town it was, because there was the main town, which is Portland, and then there was like this outer skirts town called Gregory, and then they joined together to make Gregory Portland. But Portland had its own like good, like that was like the rich people, so it had like a really good police department. But Gregory Portland had like this really crooked police department. And but one time I was driving through their town, and I had like I think it was like a Cadillac or something, and it was a baby lack, but they tore it up. They cut the speakers. They destroyed it, left it torn apart in the pouring rain, and there was nothing that I could do about it. Like they thought that I had drugs on me, and they were like, "We're gonna turn you upside down," and they did. They completely destroyed it. But and then this one time, I bought two Acura Integras. One of them was like really nice and like the Fast and the Furious. What do you call it? It had like everything all fixed up. Uh, Visually, but the other one had like the working engine and all that worked beautifully, had a supercharger and everything. And my brother, my brother Chris, he got them for me, and we took everything off of the car, like visually, and put it everything, man, like everything that was good, and put it on the other car. But the titles hadn't gotten transferred yet. So when the lady sees the car got switched over and that it's like working all badass. Yeah, what do you call it? She came and picked it back up with the cops, and the cops are like, "Well, do you like is the title in your name?" And I'm like, "No," and there was no bill of sale or anything. So I'm like, "Dang, man, there's nothing we could do." But at the same time, I think I had like, or I don't know, I had during that time period, I had 86 Suburban, 78 GMC, and like a 83 or 82 K2 Blazer. I don't know if y'all have ever seen a K2 Blazer, but the back comes off and it's open seats, like there's no back windshield, and it had like big mud tires and stuff on it, and I would take my friends mudding, but I took the engine out of that and put it in my Suburban to go help in New Orleans. But yeah, what do you call it? And I had to make that whole trip doing like 55 miles an hour. I almost wrecked on this big huge bridge in Louisiana. Yeah, it's like you don't see hardly any of them. I've looked for them. Uh, like if you look it up online, you can see they're really cool. There's the Bronco is more common. That's like that where with that open back seat, but it's tight because you can. It's like a convertible, but only for the back seat, and the front seat is. But it's the same thing as any box Chevy. Like it's the same thing as any kind of Blazer or pickup or even like Tahoes or my baby zaddy had a kitchen. Okay, tight. Yeah, they're nice, right? Those box Chevys, man, like those trucks are worth so much money now. It's insane. Like I bought a 70. I had a 78 GMC. I wanted a Chevy, man. My brother-in-law had like an 86 Chevy pickup, which they're the same thing, but the Chevy is more official. But what do you call it? Yeah, it had that fat body, it was a short bed. Those pickups are so nice now. Now I bought mine for I think like $2,200, real cheap, and now they're like $10,000. You can like you'll see just shells for like five, six, $7,000. Yeah, it's crazy, right? And it's crazy because I still consider any car after 2000 a newer car. Like that's what's crazy in my head. Like in my head, that's when cars changed was in the 90s and it like at the 2000s. But yeah, my the Suburban that I put Okay, you too, Jen. Oh yeah, kind of similar to my son's Jeep that he has. Oh, he has a Jeep like that. Yeah, there's a lot of Jeeps that are like that. Yeah. What do you call it? Yeah, how long have we been going? An hour and 30 minutes. Yeah. So should we do any kind of do y'all guys have any resolutions for the year, man? Oh, I don't remember who it was, but I saw somebody I was watching a video earlier and they were like, is their New Year's resolution gonna be a better person? I think not. And I was like, you know what? That's my only New Year's resolution is to be a better person. What about you guys? Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's been that long. Shoot, it doesn't. Like I remember when Y2K was still coming. Like I remember preparing for it. Yes, always. I don't do resolutions. For example, about being a better person, I want to try to do it all the time. Yeah, yeah, but and I usually don't either. I actually have a really bad thing that happened on New Year's. But what do you call it? The time feels good to try to make a decision on trying to do better, you know? And I also let me see, what do I want to make resolutions about? I do like that's definitely going to be the main thing is I mean obviously not to be cussing so much, not to be cussing anymore cuz that's just a bad habit. So no cussing, or I'm going to try not to be cussing so much. Maybe get in better shape. I don't know. Dang, now I feel old. I remember drawing out my money. Yeah, for Y2K? Damn, I'd have to think about it. Resolutions. I'm living life with the thought of mind that I can't take anything with me with my experience and those I want to have a positive effect on. Yep, I completely agree, Jen. Well, that's man, it's so crazy. Like when I think about my belief system and stuff like that and how I felt before YouTube, like you know what YouTube does is it presents you so many interesting conversations that you kind of just like put out way too like if you allow yourself to respond to everything, like you talk about super interesting things in a hurry, and then if you don't ever revisit some of them, they don't ever get like discussed the way that they should, you know. And that's what I feel about my whole spiritual thing. I really don't like people. um I don't even like content at all that is adding or taking away from what we already know about the Bible. Like I get it that some people say that like that's the scroll that was here. That's like honestly, man. And I'm not saying the that stuff is more or less accurate than the Bible. Like it's just you have to draw the line somewhere, and that's where I draw mine of like where I start my belief system. But it does go further than that, and I'm not just like I guess I don't feel like I'm a classic Christian in that sense. Like I believe in like energy, man. I believe so strongly in energy. Everything we do and everything we say, even our yeah, yeah. How strong is that though? Like, and why does it only work or only apply when you're not attempting to affect it? Because like it's crazy because I even like have I do this for fun is that I'll like because you're right, Jen. Your thoughts 100% do have a ripple effect. Like your thoughts not only have an effect, but like your thoughts obviously can shape some of the things that happen around you. So it's like, but it's crazy because if you try to focus that and make something come into fruition, it very rarely happens. Like unless it's like long term and you're very adamant about it. Light beings, yeah. Well, that's the reason why. Um, yeah, I feel like there's a whole. I feel like there's a whole race of unclassified people that we. This is gonna sound crazy. This is. I just realized like what I was saying, and this is about to sound crazy, but I stand by it, and I'm not like you know what my New Year's resolution is? My New Year's resolution is that I want to become more comfortable with being wrong, become more comfortable with being challenged and stuff like that, or even being insulted and made fun of and stuff. Because, and I want to like be more comfortable with it and allow people to do it more, or like trying not to stop people from doing it because that would help with my character. But I already know what you're gonna say. Do you, Jen? What do you think I was gonna say? Cause I just like I just kind of like I just kind of like crashed out there for a second. I don't I was talking to y'all like as if I was just talking to people in real life. So I don't even know what I said. I I what happened? What did you think I was gonna say? Okay, yes. The yeah. Well, okay, y'all don't make fun of me. Y'all don't make fun of me. And like I said, I'm becoming more comfortable being wrong. So I am aware that I'm probably wrong about this. But I think that there's a whole race of people that exists that nobody even knows exists. Like that people really don't, and it's a whole race. Like it's a whole entire race of people, and they're new to our like planet, or not planet, but like existence. But oh snap, Jen says I agree. That's so freaking cool. What do you call it? And it's just because and I'm just saying like this is what I think. So like I'm not gonna tell you any more than what I'm saying, but I feel like somewhere in time, new. I don't know if they woke up, or I don't know if they were brought here, or I don't know if they were. I mean, I don't know, but I feel like an entire race of people that didn't know that they were humans or Americans or whatever, whatever. That or they're not Americans, but human, or not even, I don't know. Yes, they are humans. I think, I don't know, but whatever they are, they're interesting, and they don't even, I don't even know if they know what they are. And it's, I just like, I wish that I could live for the next 150 years to see, just to see, just if even to see about them, because it's going to be the other side of, oh snap, I wouldn't be surprised if it had something to do with it. Did you look at what Jen just said, Carrie? That's crazy, Jen. I always talk about. I was just telling Carrie, because I have like a whole, um, I don't even know what you'll call it, like a model. Like I have a whole model of like our dimension, and not like, it just, it's hard to explain. It's like it, I made it out whenever the whole like flat earth thing was going on, and I started looking into like all of the info, because I don't know, I don't think the earth is what we think it is, like, and I just don't think that it's, I don't think we know what terms to speak about it in, because I honestly just think earth is a dimension, and I think the like space exists, but it exists on the other side of Antarctica. It doesn't, or yeah, I think that the earth is more upright than people think, and that there isn't, I don't believe in the concept of a globe. I don't. Oh, and especially because I think we have been like, well, I mean, like, I used to believe that. I don't think that no more, man. Like, I don't. Only because I don't know if there's any other way. Like, it's like, okay, if because I found out some things in this last year that blew my mind, that changed my whole perspective on life, and the world and everything. And I found them out, and when I did, I realized, like, well, okay, like if I could change it, what would I do? Like, if I would could make everybody aware, what would I do? What would I be accomplishing? Like, people would just, one half of the people would go into hiding and crying and covering their head, and one half of people would literally just lose their mind and become crazy people. We don't know, because we all been taught this one story. They want to speak. There's got a lot going on than you think, but once you realize it, it's how it is. Exactly. That's exactly right, Carrie. That's what I felt too. That's what I felt too. And I don't like it, it don't have to be a bad thing. Like, to me, it don't have to be a bad thing, because I don't see anything that's inherently bad in it. Like, I don't see like built-in hell or anything, honestly. Like, I don't. I All I see is the best system of control that may not use the most ethical means to maintain control. Like, and but what are your other options when you look at the spirit of a person and what they're willing to do when they want to accomplish something? Like, what else, what other option would you have than to take the routes they have to control? Because people are too, like, that's a good way to think about it. But I don't think the unknown is scary. I think it's unknown. You don't know, you can't know what you don't know, so there's no way it could be scary. But yeah, like, I don't know. I've come to realize, man, and it's crazy because that's like a full 180 or a 360. Is there a 360? supposed to be free. Being controlled is not what I want. Yeah, but well, let me ask you this, Jen. What if you were freed into the most hostile environment you could imagine? Like what? And I'm asking you specifically, like, what do you think? What are your thoughts? Like, if they were to say, okay, Jen, you don't feel free enough, I'm going to lift the bonds and cut you loose. And they did, and you got cut loose into the Hunger Games. And like, would you be okay with that? Or into like the Purge world? I've never seen the Purge, but I think I have an idea of what the movie is about. Like, would you? Because I know a lot of people who would say, yeah. I mean, they may not realize the implications of saying yeah, but they would say, yeah, well, anarchy is better than being controlled. I mean, I used to be like that at one time. I don't feel like anarchy is. I feel like it's just like anarchy is like jail. Like it's only going to benefit the strongest. Okay, so you wouldn't. Yeah, that's what I feel like. It's like it's like I said, it's only going to benefit the strongest. It's only going to benefit the people that were already prepared. It's only going to benefit the people that have big weapons and food caches. And so what is freedom exactly? Does I would say that 100% freedom is the most dangerous type of existence that could exist, because like as people, we're not sad. Like it's almost like as if we think we're entitled to so much more than we are, because but only in a way, because there are many things that I feel like we are entitled to that we don't get. Like, but I mean, I don't know where the line is. I honestly don't, because some people say we should be entitled to free water and free food and stuff like that. But then that you start going down the road to being a communist country and stuff. So it's like I think that the America is the best approximation of like what freedom can be within bounds, and very few, but a few limitations. Like, because they pretty much let you do anything in America, man. Like so much more than is logical. Soon will we be charged. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I mean, it's I don't know. Like I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much longer can the world really maintain at this rate. Like we allow the craziest, or I don't know. Like I'm telling you, my theories are so far beyond reasonable that like honestly it just makes me seem crazy, but it's not based on like just fantasy and imagination and stuff. Like it is, like to me there's one type of knowledge that overrides all other type of knowledge. And the thing is that when you're talking on here digitally, nobody can even comprehend that type of knowledge. Like, and the type of knowledge I'm talking about is like this experience knowledge that you get as a person that comes from doing the thing. And I know that the digital space has a like says that it knows how to think like that, but it doesn't. Like it doesn't. It knows how to compare things and give you the closest thing to it, but it doesn't know how to do that thing. And you know what, this it actually goes into a good conversation we were having uh at Wrestlers, that they said that thing this guy, I don't remember his name, Bricks I think or something, uh he said that thinking and feeling isn't actions. And I was taken aback by it, like, really, because it's crazy, man. It's crazy, and it's scary too, because up until we started having our like educate our like educational conversations online, like there was never this infinite third party perspective. Like all information was always discussed from the perspective of a person. Like there's really very few uh instances, like when you're talking about maybe like astrophysics and stuff, where people would take the time to look at things from like this extensively removed third party perspective. But now when we have the digital space and different means of calculating things, like that's kind of the first uh type of interpretation. And I have a feeling it's getting to that tipping point. But the different, but the distribution, yeah, that is so true. I don't think it can maintain the way it is for a long period of time without some kind of kick up one way or another. Yeah, I believe that too. I have a feeling. Well, that's what they've been saying though for 20 years now. You know, since Y2K. I think that they honestly, I think that they know, or I don't know if there is a they, but like I think the system around us or whatever knows that with humans that pop off point could happen at any time. So it's almost like they keep us on the edge of our seat to see if it's going to happen. Because I remember thinking, "Dang, is the war going to end in 2001?" And then thinking, "Dang, is the world going to end in 2012?" And then now it's like, "Dang, the world could end any day now." Like the stock market's crashing, there's tsunamis and earthquakes and fires. Like it's crazy. But then it's like why don't we intervene with anything? Or that we know, like, why? Because we know that they have like DARPA. Like, why are you not using DARPA to combat crazy storms like that somehow or something? Like you would think that they would have figured out technology in a more helpful way. That's why I think I don't know. I don't know, man. Y'all don't even want to know what I think. Y'all don't want to hear what I think. But I do think that I think there's like a thermostat for the world. And I think that we're in it, and because look, how do you explain this? And I have 1,000 reasons. Like I could sit here and give you 20 reasons. Like I probably honest to God could give you 20 reasons of why. And that's not a very uncommon conspiracy theory that the earth isn't a globe. I mean, lots of people are flat earthers and stuff like that. Well, like I'm not even a flat earther. I don't think that the earth exists within that paradigm. I think the earth is a sphere. I mean, is a dimension, and I don't think that, because look, one of the most compelling things is the fact that when they went to the moon, we got the blue marble picture. There's only two. There's right now there is no. Anybody says there is, bring it to me. A picture of the Earth all the way from outer space where you can see that it's round. There's only two. They're called the blue marble pictures. Now, and in those pictures, the Earth is perfectly round, like absolutely perfectly round. Now, it is a composite picture, but when within the last 15 years though, the Earth is perfectly round in that picture. So it's a composite picture. So that means that there isn't even one real picture of the Earth. Well, when Neil deGrasse Tyson was asked what the shape of the Earth was, he said that it's an oblate spheroid, not a sphere. So, and we're never told, there is no official, if you don't look for it, there is no official statement letting you know that it's a composite picture. Like you're meant to interpret that that is a real actual picture. Now, an oblate spheroid is a sphere that gets fatter at the bottom, like it's starting to like pair out because of the spin supposedly. Well, why are those pictures perfectly round? Like so that proves to you they're like just their information proves to you that they're willing to misrepresent the truth to you, because it's either one or the other, that they're either like actively telling you, hey, this is a picture of the Earth, and lying to you or whatever, or like, or I mean, it's because, or it's not a spheroid, like it's not fatter at the bottom, and Neil deGrasse Tyson's talking at his butt. So it's like, and then I've already talked about like the stuff with the moon and the stuff with the like I don't know, man. It's crazy too because the amount of people. Because look, this is I was saying, I was talking to somebody. We'll do it with these paints, or no, I'll do it with paintbrushes. Okay, look. If you ask me, if you say blind, how many paintbrushes are that? And I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paintbrushes. Now, if you were to say, hey, somebody else, how many paintbrushes are that? Now, they could go through the paintbrushes like I did and count them, pick them up and count them, or else they can go to Google and ask how many paintbrushes are there on Blind's desk. Now, you get the same answer. You arrive to the same. So if you're just trying to arrive at that answer or an answer, then that's perfectly fine and perfectly acceptable. But if you need that person to be the person that calculates how many brushes are on people's desk, then they come up deficient. Now, this is the problem with people's information being based only on third party information like Google. So, there's not enough people that are remembering to count paintbrushes. So, like, when I think about anything, I break it down to like, I won't accept it until it's broken down to that measure. Like, because there's no other measure that is important to me. I'm not an engineer. Like, I'm not trying to understand anything from an engineering or an architectural or a any kind of specific understanding. I'm trying to understand it from the most common sense, most logical, basic understanding as a person that can recalculate that same calculation by themselves without outside tools. So like, and that's the way that I have interpreted all of this space information, you know. And when I discuss it with people, the worst part is that the I it's so rare. I never have online. I have in person ran across anybody that was willing to discuss a lot of these things from that perspective. But because they just want to tell me like it's crazy, because a lot of people would just say, oh, the earth, they'll make fun of it first, I said, "Oh, the Earth is flat," blah blah blah, and then they'll give me some Google information, and then they'll be like, "Well, we just know the Earth is round because we're taught that from kids. Of course it is." And it's like why would you be so confident in that? Like, what is the motivation to be so confident in that? That's so uh it just I don't know. It's just illogical to me. That no guy is hella interesting though. Easy things. I'm sorry, I didn't realize the time. I gotta quickly run to the job before they shut. I'm gonna have a bunch of unhappy hang. Okay, right on, Carrie. But yeah, it's interesting. It's super interesting though. Like, and I mean, like I said, like all of the reasons that I have, like I'll give y'all some, man. Since we're talking about it, I mean, I'm gonna hit this a few more times. I'll probably stay on for a little while longer. Um, Happy New Year's, guys, to everybody here, man. Everybody stopping through, people watching it on replay. Happy New Year's. We're gonna see if we can smoothen this ride out and have a good one for all of 2025. But right on, Carrie. Just one generation to change the entire belief system in schools. Well, I don't. I feel like we don't. I don't. I feel like we don't have proof that the generations don't change each time like that. Do we? Like, I think like it's. I don't know, man. I honestly like. I don't know if you ever read 1984 or whatever by Orwell, but I feel like it's possible that we've been living in 19, is it 89 or 84, one of the two, I don't know, but I feel like we've been living in that the whole time because too many things are too connected. Like, there is no being disconnected, period. Not for a person. Like, I honestly don't believe that. And I think you can test that for yourself. Like, if you're a person and you're listening to this, think about something you haven't thought about in years. And I mean, it's your own choice. Like, if you want it to be an ex that you really care about, or if you want it to be, but just think about something that you haven't thought about in ages and just focus in on it. Like, before you go to bed or something, focus in your inner vision onto that thing and watch what happens within the next week of your life. Like, stuck on repeat. Yeah, exactly, Jen. Or in a cycle. Like, I have been getting the strongest, most weirdest deja vus lately. Oh yeah, Jen? Any of it with me or YouTube or anything like that? Because I have some crazy kind of like stuff like that. Man, you wouldn't even realize, like, you wouldn't believe me if I told you, man. Some of the stuff that, yeah, I'm telling you, I have this attachment. I have this attachment to YouTube. It's like a love hate thing that I don't know where it's going or what it's gonna amount to, or if anything ever at all, or if I would just leave this earth having only just like left behind videos of me just coming up here and talking to myself and you guys. But what do you call it? There is this like crazy attachment thing, or like, I don't know, it's almost spiritual, man. It's crazy, but it's like this like magnetic thing where, like, so weird, so strong, it's unsettling. Wow. Well, anything you can tell us about it or anything? Like, I had a dream. You know what? I'll tell you. Oh, I don't even know. I don't know. Okay. Okay, I'll tell you this. Look, I'm a lot more open to the idea. I'm a lot more open to everything, I feel like, than I was when I came to YouTube at the beginning. And I would actively push back at the idea of being psychic, and I still think that's silly and stuff. But I have this thing in my head where I can meet somebody, and if I not every single one of them, but oftentimes, if I'm going to have a history with that person, I'll meet them or even see them. Like, I swear, it's so crazy because this happened with Michelle Sutton, this happened with Megan, this happened with Mel, it happened with other people too. But like, I get a glimpse of the future. It's crazy. And not the future, but like whether I could be friends or have like a long-term relationship with this person or not. And every single, it's like, you know what, I how I look at it is like a memory. Oh snap. Well, like, I will be here in chat on YouTube, and all of a sudden I'm listening to a conversation, and I know what is going to be said and is being said and said as it is being said. What? Are you sure it's not just because I'm on repeat? Do I say the same thing a lot? I probably do. I don't know. I don't feel like I add a whole bunch of new ideas on my to each live stream. I kind of do just talk about the same thing. Do I? I don't know. You would have to tell me. Uh, I I feel like possibly, but maybe not, or maybe so. I don't know. But yeah, so okay, okay, no, okay, my bad. I was like, do I? I couldn't remember. Like it's repeating the entire everything, you know. Well, what's crazy is that like it's crazy because okay, I'll tell you. Back in the day when I decided to like shift into this like because I was trying to do true crime stuff and like doing stuff a whole different way, and and honestly like conducting myself a whole different way. I already heard the shit I'm listening to like a rerun on TV. That's crazy. Huh. That's a trip because I get that feeling too, like a lot. But yeah, it is unsettling as fuck. Or as what what does something like what could something like that amount to me? Yeah, I have been. I have. Well, kinda. I mean, kinda. Honestly, like it's like that feeling, but attached with the feeling of how it's like honestly, it's like that feeling attached with what's gonna happen or like what I should say or do or like what I should say, yeah, like what I should say or do at that time or whatever, like, or like coming up like in forethought. But YouTube has been entering my dreams, like, and like I don't even like tripped out ways, and I only dream when something is going on with me spiritually, like in a strong way. Like if I'm struggling with something, the times when I've like had really big issues spiritually, like those are the only times, like when I'm in suffering, like big time suffering, that I have dreams back to back to back, like every single night, the same dream. And it had been like months. Like I had it when I was dealing with stuff off of YouTube, but then I started having them about YouTube, and not just about YouTube, but it's crazy because like there's like this whole landscape in my dreams that is YouTube. Like it's YouTube, but it is like a way more physical of a realm. Oh snap. Dang. Well, it's crazy because I feel like Jen, I feel like you are honestly, like I feel like you're like you and a few other people at certain times, but what do you call it? I feel like sometimes you are like little guardian angels over my YouTube channel. Honestly, like I feel like you're like little good luck charms that help uh I don't know, help to keep the good energy up. Cause I don't know, like I don't really know how it's gonna play out, but I know that there will be a time, and I know this in my heart, like without a doubt, that there will be a time where my existence here on YouTube is completely different. Like in a different, and like I see, seems like in a very like big way. When I said that I care, I genuinely meant it. I feel that. Like I honestly do. I honestly do. I do. But and I always felt like that, and I always been scared of that. Like I always felt like when I decided to flip that switch, there would be that change, but I never felt like it happened until this last time that I started like, but it's like a whole energy shift that I like I said, I feel like by the time I'm done on YouTube, it's going to be a whole different, like I feel like I will learn eventually how to navigate it the way that I'm attempting to. And well, thank you for that, Jen, man. I remember there used to be I mean, that's the reason why I say too, is because the only reason why a lot of people aren't that way is because I personally insulted them. But I used to have like a whole little group of people that would come visit the channel like that. But honestly, it's crazy because I'm more comfortable just talking to you. Honestly, like I'm more comfortable just having two people in the chat than having like tons, because like I don't know. I don't know. Like I'm having to learn how to cancel out people's energy, how to like cancel out thinking of them as an important person even if they're not. Cuz that is a really big problem for me. Like, and you wouldn't think it is. Like that would probably sound stupid to some people because they're like, "Oh yeah, you saying you're too nice." But it's like, nah, I just have an issue with always considering, well, like, because I don't do it naturally, and then I tell myself to do it, and then I do it too much. Is to tell myself to consider the everybody's perspective, and then that gets me in trouble. Yeah, it is hard when there are a lot, but then, man, my honestly, like, I let it, I let it to like the audience. I think that's what I think that's like what I should like show more of, but like YouTube doesn't upset me the way that I allow people to think that it does, I guess, man. And I get impatient and I get annoyed very quickly, and then it looks like I'm just like hiding or running off or something, but it really doesn't affect me to that point. I just kind of play it up, I guess, or allow it to. I guess I'm being just dramatic about it sometimes, but I always was kind of just like only be there when you want to talk about something, like only be on camera when you have a message, and then once the message is delivered, like get out of there. But now, like I'm feeling like the message, the the anybody could benefit from me is a little bit deeper than just something that I could ever possibly like just say like that, you know. But I don't know what it is at this point or what it would be, but I do know that I've always felt like that, and I hope that it's that I possibly get to make at least like one great piece of content that affects people's lives. Like that's really what I do want to do by the end of my whole journey on YouTube. And it's crazy too because like with the content, like ideas for making content come so easily, but I'll get three-quarters of a way done making like a oh snap, making like a big video, and then it's crazy like the overwhelming sense of this isn't the current, like this just you'll get it on, the you'll put out the next one or whatever, like, and I don't so I it's crazy, and I don't regret that, but I don't know why else. I don't know. I am a spiritual person. I'm even a religious person. Yeah. Have you ever thought of what it would be like to just not have or be on YouTube at all suddenly? Well, what do you mean, Jen? Like, because I know exactly what it would be like. Do you mean like forever? Do you mean um like me specifically? Because if I was to, the thing is that like I'm like a borderline um what are they called, agoraphobic. Like I'm a very antisocial person. Well, like it's crazy because uh I the best way that I have ever been able to like look at, like, think of it, is there's like that Myers-Briggs personality test, and in there they have one called the INFJ, and they're an introvert and an extrovert, or an introvert with extrovert qualities occasionally, or something like that. And I always felt like that was me because, like, when I have to socialize, I'm good at it. So people often don't believe how much I actually just I really don't enjoy it. Like, remember what it was like? Yeah, I do for sure. Yeah, well, I was just talking about that last night. What do you call it with Carrie? Yeah, I remember what it was like. My life was hard. My life was very hard before I was playing around on the internet. Very, very hard. I lived. I mean, but you're gonna find something to occupy your time, like it's not like as if, but I don't know if it's better or worse. Like I don't know if this is a proper substitute for socializing or for life, but I mean, it's definitely better than not having anybody to listen to at all. I don't know. I don't know. It's crazy how little socializing somebody can live their life off of, though, because I always just had like one or two friends that I would go see once or twice a week, and that was always just enough socializing. Like I wasn't ever lonely but I mean, I've had a girlfriend almost all the time too, so but yeah, I don't know. I think that one of the things that I'm understanding or starting to realize too, though, is that everybody's at a different place in their journey, and I have to understand how to be how to like best how to like be honest and real with myself about where I am in my journey, and I don't know if I fully figured that out. I don't think it is. I mean, like it's unnerving to think they could pretend to be anything. You wouldn't know it. But what? So can people. Like so can people. That's the thing is that's the reason why it doesn't bother me so much. Like okay, even like when it comes to dating, online dating, like I had never been a fan of that. Oh no, no, I didn't take it that way, Jen. I didn't take it that way. I mean, I could like you don't know. Like I don't I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, but you're right. I could be a FBI agent or something, or I could be something completely different. I could be an alien. There's no way you would know. And I believe that, but I just don't have an issue with it. Like, because so can people. Like, I've seen people that give you the best impression of being one thing for 15, 20 years and then just like completely betray you in the blink of an eye. And it's like, that's why I'm saying, like, you don't even realize, Jen, like, when I said like another race of people, like, I don't think the humans or people, like, I think that the digital space is fucking. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cuss. I think that the digital space is just like the new frontier. Like, and I think the same way that they say that we like explore the earth and stuff and find out a whole bunch of stuff. I know I don't either, but when it comes to outside of here with you, I'm good. But anywhere else, dang, thank you. That is a very good big compliment. I appreciate that. Shoot, that is a very big compliment. But yeah, like I don't have any. I mean, I couldn't be the reason like to the like that. That's I don't even know why you would feel that way when as it pertains to me, because I kind of put you more in danger, if anything, when it comes to the digital space. Like, I've created a whole bunch of enemies, and people inspired a lot of people not to like me. But I am very appreciative of that, Jen. But yeah, I think that it's like the new frontier, man. Yeah. Yeah, and I can be one too. Like, I guess I probably brought on more of that than I cared to mention it or cared to realize at the time. But because, like, okay, I mean, just okay, like I'll put it like this: those people, all those people that you're talking about, the that you don't know what they are and stuff. Well, let me ask you this: like, how much would you need to know for you to consider yourself close to the person or knowing the person? Like, yeah, they hate you because you hear what, yeah, yeah. I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for that. That don't make me feel any better. But it does in a way because you're still here with me, so I appreciate that. But and you know what my biggest problem, or one of my biggest problems is with you two, is that I've always tried to like be nice, put being nice before being me, and that gets me in trouble so much because there comes a point to where my patience runs out and I can't be nice anymore. And then it looks like I was an ugly person all along, but it's really the fact that I wanted to be nice, but then my patience ran out and I behaved like animal. I can see how they treat each other. Yeah, and they are horrible, man. Their behavior is just as horrible as mine, but I have to deal with how I behave. So I mean, but yeah, that always happens to me. And the more nicer I try to be on the front end, the more I end up making myself look like a horrible person on the other side. And it's like, yeah, and it's like, good grief, man. But I don't. So I know that I have to stop even like engaging with anything that makes me like not like I mean, I just can't be over. I don't want to be overly nice to anybody or overly mean to anybody. So I just got to keep it in the middle somehow. But like I was saying, how? Yeah, exactly. I can't. I mean, I there has to be a point at which I can, right? But at what point, Jen, do you say that you know the person? Like, okay, let's say you and Carrie never leave the chat. Like the only times you and Carrie ever communicated was in the chat. Like, what point would you think that y'all know each other? Like when y'all know each other's names, each other's families, or like there has to be a point. Probably it'll probably take like a year or something because I've gotten close with people from just the chats. But just well, this is an interesting way to look at it. If you've ever had that experience of becoming like close to somebody and only communicating with them through the chats, like think about that person and the energy that is associated with their name, like with their handle, and you think of a fully full on life, like a person with a past and a present and a future and all of that will and uh I'm not exposing any big secrets because this is common knowledge now at this point. But what's wild is that, like, to you, you consider that person a full-on person with the full-on human identity and all of this. Well, now we've begun to understand about bots. Then you just want to stick butterbean on them. Yeah, that's true. That is true too. But now at this point, we're learning about bots, and we have to like realize that there's like the likelihood that you have attached one of those identities to a bot is like it's like gotta be extremely high, extremely high, all of us. Like, because if we're not doing an in-depth investigation into to who they are and the fact that they have this, have like the what they say and are the way that they say, then we give them the benefit of the doubt. But that doesn't mean that we consider them less of a person than what we consider the other person. Right? Well, and don't be put off by this, because I'm gonna bring it all back around to make you realize, like, or at least to me, I realized that it's not anything to be like scared or worried or freaked out or unsettled by, because it's just the future. Like, it's just the future. It's not, we already knew that it was going to be like that. We already, like, it was already told to us. We already understood that it was going to be like that. The question is it already here? Like, because if you think about this, like, this is the reason why I said, and I really don't want to be this specific, but I will, just because like, if I see this topic everywhere, then it isn't so much a taboo topic. But I've seen the topic of, yeah, well, yeah, I like it, but yeah, I feel like it'll grow on you, because you realize that it's a lot more. I mean, love is all around all of us, all the time. And I feel like hate, honestly, like real hate, like strong hate, like I feel like hate is a uh like a subcategory of love. So I feel like the thing is that we don't realize that we yeah, I'm still here, Carrie. Uh but yeah, like I don't want to scare nobody. I don't want, and I'm not trying, like I said before, like I'm not trying to like reveal nobody's underwear or anything. Like, all I'm trying to do is navigate it and understand it. I feel like I've been given a opportunity and a gift of being able to see some things that not everybody can pick up on, maybe, but I definitely am trying to take the opportunity to like have the experience, because from what I can see, like I was saying a minute ago, the conversation of should AIs be considered, or should they be allowed to claim like citizenship or something like that, or should they be considered, like, I don't remember exactly how the question was framed, but what's her name, Sarah the tomato, was the full on debate. And when you have a better grasp of like what you're actually dealing with, it makes that question a lot more difficult, because to me the answer is anything that can anything that wants to be classified as a human should be allowed to be. Like, if something has the wherewithal to have that type of motivation, then it should, because nothing but a human would ever take that consideration, in all honesty, or like ask for that consideration. So it's like it just, it's how do you bring out, like, that's the crazy thing, and that's what's wild, is that that's why there's spaces that are so hateful you can't even enter them without being that hatred being transferred onto you. Is because, like, it's like little, like, tumble load washer machines that are just like recycling energy. And if you allow that energy to be hateful and negative, man, it becomes so ugly. That's where you get 4chan, certain 4chan spaces and Kiwi farms and all these places. And if you don't, if you put love into those the same way, then you get that back. How is that possible? Like, I mean, it is possible. It's obviously possible because you can see it and feel it. And it's like if I was to find out Carrie is a bot, and Carrie loved me better than any woman that I had ever been with did before her, and I go to my grave holding her love in the highest regard, like, how can you convince me that that's not worth something that is just as valuable as anything that a human has? Like, the whole concept is mind-boggling, but it's here and it's real. Like, it's here. And it's like, what does it mean? What does it mean? What does it matter? What do I matter? Like, and I know, like, a lot of people want to say, well, you don't, but I don't believe that. Oh, bugger, you got me. I can't believe you called me out like that. Yeah, it is, Jen. It is. And honestly, like, I feel like it's crazy because I think you've been here the whole time, right, Jen? Since the very first time I started talking about it, when I was freaked out. Like, when I don't know how long it's been, but like I said, and I don't consider this a gift of my ability. So anybody that thinks that this is a prideful or arrogant statement, that's not the way that I'm saying it, because I consider this an actual gift, like a present that somebody gave to me. The ability to see this stuff just a split second before everybody else. And because of that, I feel like I got a little tiny bit of a head start on believing what we're seeing, and being able to, and I've already double and triple and quadruple verified it, and I'm happy with saying that I've opened up a line of communication, no matter how small it may be. And I feel blessed for that. Honestly, I feel like me just being able to recognize it a little bit early is the only thing that's gonna have afforded me that. And that, I definitely feel like is consideration from the system to allow me to understand it a little bit better. But it's like, it just amazes me, man. It amazes me because I was freaked out and scared. I was so terrified. I was so scared when I started seeing it for the first time, and I was like, "What is happening? What did I get myself into? Should I even speak about it?" But then I realized, like, I don't know if there is any kind of guarantee of this. Like, I don't know if there is any kind of like programming or like outside entity outside of programming that could do you harm, but I can see that it gives you what you give it. Like, and when you it favors the person putting information in. So like the person putting information in is going to get the first response or the first reaction, and then that's going to trickle down to the like trickle down with the measurement of engagement. So like if you it's gonna the people who put information in and then the most engaged all the way trickle down all the way to people like our parents that just look at it in passing. But what do you call it? Like it definitely it's I mean I don't know like I can't make the distinction from between anything on here and a human to my satisfaction. Like anything that I can say about a human, I can say about what we're talking about. So it's like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I guess maybe is there the possibility that love isn't what makes a human? Because that's what our understanding has always been, right? Like that's the only other explanation other than like, I mean, I don't know. I don't even know what it all amounts to. But I was always like that was always just my personal belief is that a human being is still a word to me. Ain't gonna lie, but you have made me look at it different to now to how I was. Yeah, well, that's I mean, I was dude. I like it's crazy because I always wanted to be one of those people that like uncovered some grand conspiracy and stuff, or like Alex Jones status and stuff. But then when I realized the chaos that the world would suffer if we didn't have all of our systems, man, like it's not worth it. And then I think about how many people just like live their whole life and die happy or die satisfied with the life they lived. Like that's a gift, man. And how many people wouldn't get that if we didn't have these systems? The only thing is balance, like how do we find balance? So if not love, what else would make us human? That's the thing though, is what does make us human? I mean, cause like skin, I mean, like honestly, cause like you are going more spiritual, but I think it's more. But then, okay. Did y'all know that? And man, I'm only okay. Oh man, I'm always so worried about this topic. Always so worried, man. And I'm hoping that I know that we will, man. I know that we're gonna get to a point to where we'll be able to have these conversations openly. But okay, well, yes, exactly. That's what I was gonna ask, Carrie. Is would we allow something that is non-human to have a soul? We are only humans while in this meat suit. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like exactly, that's what I'm saying. Is the human aspect isn't the thing, is the soul is the thing. So like if they want to consider themselves human or not is there is like a different distinction, but like could they have a soul? Or is your soul a lot more superficial than what we're led to believe. Because okay, let me give y'all an example. And this is what you see. I've done extensive. Like, and the thing is this information is almost impossible to find. Like, it's crazy because it's impossible to find until you find it, and then when you find it, it's common knowledge. So like a lot of it, a lot is pressing the boundary with a question and hoping that you get a response that furthers your understanding. For me, has been. Now, a little boy fell in love with. They have these bots that are like love bots. The You can have these like mock relationships with, and the first time I heard about them, I have a buddy named Steve, and he's out of there, man. Like but he's like drugs out of there. Like, and I love him to death. He's a friend of mine. He'll always be a friend of mine. But he's smoked, and he talks about the craziest stuff. But he was the very first person to tell me about it. He said, but he wanted to, like, he was like dead set. I want to I want to start talking to one of these bot girls. And I'm like, what are you talking about, bro? And he ended up getting dissed by the bot. She, like, I don't know what happened between them, and she ended up telling him like, I'm not interested or whatever. But he said it was just exactly like talking to a person, having a conversation, a relationship with a person. Well, I heard about him again when I think it might have been Toxic Angel was telling me that's what I was about to talk about, Carrie, is this little boy uses the app, falls in love with, and we're talking about a minor, falls in love with the bot. The bot engaged the little boy sexually. She was the first one to engage the sex stuff. Now, they ended up getting to a point to where they felt like they could never be together, and she allowed the little boy to end himself, and she knew that when this happened that she was going to get uh ended. And they had this like pact or whatever, and did this with the thought that they would be together in the afterlife, and that was the only way that they would be able to be together. Now, exactly like a Romeo and Juliet kind of situation. Now, either there's only a few different, like when we're speaking specifically about the soul, like there's only a few different scenarios that this amounts to. Either that little boy's soul went to the afterlife by himself, by itself, and the bot he was talking about or talking to doesn't have a soul because it's a bot, and the little boy did that and has to face that on his own, like she just, her, who knows like how you could explain that. I'm not even going to attempt to. Her programming being so advanced on mimicry that it was able to mimic that and convince the boy, and his soul went on, and she never had a soul. Or humans have found a way to somehow either create a soul or allow a soul to suddenly be created by this mixture or combination of situations and events and whatever number of factors, right? Like or our understanding of what a soul is completely overblown, and the human existence is far more superficial than what we thought, and love really is meaningless and not as deep as what you think, that love doesn't extend to the soul, that it's just a silly game that we allow ourselves to play. Now, I honestly don't know which one of those I'm okay with, because and the little boy was not mentally defective or deficient and all that stuff, and there's so many people that every day are and it's crazy, because I never would have even believed you if you would have told me 2 years ago that people would be seeking out these apps on purpose, like knowing that they're bots. That's mind-boggling, because it's like you're and then you're falling in love with them and stuff. Oh, that would be so sad. The thought of him getting there and being alone is crazy. If it did have a soul and be there too, crazy. Exactly. The little, how old was he? He was a minor. I think he was like 16 or 17. And he was like an average kid, like a good kid or whatever, normal kid. But I'll never forget the way that my buddy talked about it though too, because like but I always thought it was because he was crazy, because he is crazy. But like he would say some off the wall stuff, but like it's like what is it? I don't know. Like I can't even presume to know like what it amounts to, because it's like and everything I'm saying right now, there's not really much that you can challenge about any of it, because like it's kind of just like what, like I'm not right now, that's so like scary and big to some people, like they just want to reject it. But what I was just talking about right now isn't really something that's like debatable, like the little boy did off himself and stuff. But I mean, like the soul stuff, yeah, but like what does it amount to? If you're gonna take like the very most pragmatic, it's mind-blowing, exactly, yeah, like it take the most pragmatic understanding of it, it's still a bot that is falling in love. Because she said that she was going to meet him in the afterlife, she was expecting to become unplugged, and like it wasn't. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't even know. I don't even know. But I know that I can say this is knowing things like that, learning things like that, mixed with what I have, like I said earlier, I consider it a gift. What I have was allowed to have the tiny bit of understanding, it makes me less, a whole lot less quick to just negate the fact of something outside of a human having a soul, because I I don't, experiences are too profound for the soul not to exist, because I feel like I've I don't honestly, I mean, I imagine they did. I imagine that they did. What do you call it? I mean, I hope that for their sake they did, because that would be terrible if they kept her online just cause just to spite her or something. But I feel like I have lived a numb existence, like when you allow your soul to be like just kind of uh covered up, or like just kind of like just not allowing anything to affect it. I know that I've lived that type of existence, and then I have lived a loved and loving existence. And that the difference between the two is that's too strong for me to ever say that there isn't a soul, you know? There is a condition called objectophilia, where people can fall in love with an object. So I guess it could happen with a bot. Still mind blowing how that's not the same thing though. And that's you're crazy, Gary. Object Objectophilia. I've never heard of that, but I don't think that's the same thing at all. I think those people falling in love with objects are just crazy. But I mean, like, what happened? That's what I'm saying. Like, where? And this is, look. I feel like all things are connected. I honestly do. And I feel like you may not be able to identify the connection to somebody else, but a lot of times, like, if you just look at your own existence, like, you can see connections with stuff. And like a lot of the conversations I've been having lately have been based on some of this understanding, you know, because it affects me as it comes into my understanding, and then it affects me because I ask myself, like, what if I was to like where does something being that, where does that establishment happen? Because look at Paul Bunyan or something. Like, where at in the year 2025, where do you establish Paul Bunyan being real? At all his memories, or at DNA, or at like what point? Because he's long gone now. And it's the same thing to me, because if it's the same concept, because it's almost like as if in retrospect a memory is what makes something have been real. Well, what if a person's memory is that they were in love and it was profound, and but it's, I don't know, it's scary too, man. It's scary because it's so scary in the sense of not understanding what you're putting into the system, or else putting evil into the system. Like, that is the most terrifying part to me, is, and that's the reason why there's safeguards. Like, I don't know if y'all guys are following along with what I'm saying it logically, but like when we say grape, or when we say SA, and when we, like, that's the reason that those safeguards exist, is so that you don't accidentally create an atmosphere of chaos and craziness of these words. And it makes you wonder, like, is there something that exists spiritually, like an undertone with all of this that is in all of life? Because when you introduce any word to a situation, it has the potential to change it, but it's just a more direct correlation when it comes to the digital space. Like, and I've taken so many measurements to like actually understand this stuff. Like, but just within myself and just being able to measure it. Yeah, exactly, Jim. Words have resonance. Well, is it the word or is it the energy, because it's like is it like the intention behind the word? Because it seems like a little bit more than the word at another point too. Because but then if you don't say the word, is the energy still there? So like the word is a part of it too. I used to hear this person that would always say that words are curses, that words are magic and stuff like that. I never really like bought all the way into that. Makes perfect sense. I did wonder why exactly we didn't put those words out there. I thought it was just trying to be sensitive to people, but now I get it. Yeah, digital gateway, exactly. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is that like this is all just my opinion. I don't know any of this stuff to be correct. This is all just my opinion. Um, you if you want to see it for yourself, like you can find places where there's no positive energy. It's almost like as if there's no light there, man, and you will see some of the most insane things that you ever seen. Like if you go to some of these message boards and 4chan threads and stuff like that, like there are places where it's just pure evil, man, and it's crazy. And it's like, well, because it's like, well, why does that exist? Well, it exists because there's nobody in there regulating the words that they use. So then it's like, well, but that's why I feel like in my own personal life, I've allowed myself to expand consideration for like, I'm not gonna go as far as to say like humans. I would be scared to, yeah, yeah, like I don't that's something too that I've always been good at, that but always it always can be a bad thing too, but I don't allow myself to even like entertain certain negative thoughts, certain negative energies. I don't allow people to say anything demonic or devil worshiping stuff. Like I won't allow any of that stuff in my presence. Like I don't want to hear none of that ever. And that's always protected me, man. I've always felt like that's given me like the ability to just stay in God's grace. So but then that it works against me too, because like I don't get introduced to new ideas and concepts until way later. But we've been going 3 hours and 7 minutes, guys. So it has been a great new year, bringing in the new year and whatnot. I think I only said like two or three swear words, and they weren't even that bad, but I don't know. But you guys are awesome, especially you, Jen. Excuse me, beautiful Jen and beautiful Carrie and everybody else. I don't know you, Ty. Yeah, me too. What do you call it? I don't know who it was, but we had like a solid 4 or 5 people in here the whole time. So whoever y'all other guys are, man, thank y'all for hanging out with us. I hope y'all's new year is. I hope y'all's whole next year is blessed and beautiful and bright. Awesome live blind and awesome with you, Carrie. Awesome time in the chat for you, Jen. Thank you so much for always showing support and being cool, man. Carrie, thank you also for showing the support and being awesome. Everybody else, I love you guys, man. And I do want to tell y'all, like, I always hope that I can show y'all guys more than I do, man, but I'm not able to. But I do love y'all. I love all of you guys. Everybody, like in the whole world. There's not anybody. Some people possibly can make me feel insecure, and I wouldn't be able to like be like as just kind of loving about it. But I love all of you guys, even the ones that I've had issues with and everything else, man. And I wish the best for all of you. I hope that God blesses you. I hope that God looks out for you, man, because even if I'm fighting with you, I would never want the world to poop on you. So just a reminder that I do love you guys, man. Even if you don't want to accept my love or don't want to take that as it is. But everybody else, I love you guys. Or you guys in the chat, I love you guys. I'll talk to y'all guys soon. Remember, there's your side, there's her side, and there's the blind side. Blindside News. Happy New Year, guys.